Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The ground quakes under the approach of Kolek Suneater carrying his Star Crusher. So we have Chaos versus the Undead today, as the Dark Lord himself, Papa Palpatine, leads the Chaos forces and Legion leads the forces of the Tomb Kings. So for the Chaos forces, we have double Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, with one of which, of course, being Kolek Suneater, bringing Star Crusher. We have a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, who's going to be bringing Fireball, Burning Head, and Cascading Fire Cloak as well. Give a little extra armor piercing and melee attack. But the front line, going to be Chaos Halberd. So we have 4 units of those, and they will be kind of be backed up by just some Chaos Marauders as well as the Mirror Guard. We do also have a Chaos Chariot as well, going to be kind of wrecking the Tomb King front line. It's just kind of going in and out of those formations. Tomb Kings have their infantry is pretty low mass, so the Chaos Chariots actually can do fairly good work against them, as long as they don't get caught up in potentially any of the large constructs. But otherwise, just going through Tomb Guard, other skeletons, they'll do quite a bit of good work there. And otherwise, pretty simple approach here. Just charge at the Tomb King front line. Going to use the forest as cover, and yeah, just kind of soak up some of the fire with the Chaos Marauders, and then allow the Chaos Halberds to get into the big units. But for the Tomb Kings, we have a kind of a vanguard of some Skeleton Horseman Archers up front, a pair of those. But for the rest of the forces, we have the Hero Titan standing tall. He's going to have Spirit Leech and Soul Quench, and we have the Sphinx of Usept as well. So really going to be a monster mash today. So the Hero Titan does have, actually it's Shem's Burning Gaze, not Soul Quench. But yeah, they have 2 casts of Shem's Burning Gaze and 1 Spirit Leech to go on top of the normal spell casting that the Tomb Kings will be bringing. But for the rest of the infantry department, we do have just some Skeleton Warriors and Spearmen spread throughout. Nothing too elite here. Going to let the big constructs carry the load today, as we have also the Shopti Great Bow in the back, providing a little bit of extra range support. We have the High Queen Khalida is going to be bringing nothing but My Will Be Done, and she will be on top of her snake there, so she will do poison in melee, and she does have armor piercing values. So we'll see how well she does against Kolek, though, because she is a large entity, so he will have bonus versus large there. We also do have a Lich Priest of Death, going to be just bringing Spirit Leech. And we have a Necrotech as well on their chariot. Going to just be bringing the armor there. So that armor, the buffs there is a minus, or it's a debuff really, -9 melee attack and a weakness to fire in for the surrounding units in a 40-meter radius. So that will help, especially when paired with the Sphinx of Usept, who does do fire damage and magic damage. So the nice little combo there. But those are going to be our army. So let's get this show on the road, as the Tomb Kings will pretty much be skirmishing their way forward. The Skeleton Horseman Archers really won't do a whole lot of damage, and especially firing into the Mirror Guard, as they do have silver shields and 100 armor. So those Mirror Guard are not going to be taking any damage on the approach. These Skeleton Horseman Archers really need to try and get around the back and just fire into the backs of the Chaos Marauders. Chaos Warriors themselves, I mean, they have 100 armor as well. And the Skeleton Horsemen do not have very good armor piercing on their shots, so really they just kind of need to kite away. There is a Spirit Leech being cast from the Deathcaster, who has taken quite a bit of overcast damage. Shem's Burning Gaze trying to arc its way in, doing a little bit of damage, and now the Shopti Greatbow are teeing up. They actually might be able to peel this unit off here and now. Cascading Fire Cloak does go down, but that does not give leadership, and if they are able to break, but Kolek is coming in to save the day, just saving his Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. That was almost a disastrous loss early on, because had that Chaos Sorcerer gone out so early on, these Skeleton Horseman Archers would have been able to peel off that Sorcerer, and because I don't think Kolek would have been able to keep up with that on the route. So that is a very good save there by Papa Palpatine here, keeping his Chaos Sorcerer in the fight once again. And a Fireball is going to be arcing its way out, trying to do a little bit of damage. Looks like it is trying to target maybe the Sphinx of Usept. Actually, I think it was targeting the Spirit Leech, or the Deathcaster, as it did go into the ground there. Looks like we have another overcasted Spirit Leech going down. This trying to really deal the final blow to that the magic source for the Chaos here, as they do make their approach slowly but surely. As now, actually, there are some Chaos Warhounds as well in the back line, the little sneaky Vanguard that I had missed before, so they do have a bit of mobility here, and they are trying to shut down the Ushabti, but there are just so many units close by that I'm pretty sure these Chaos Warhounds will not be lasting too long as they do finally rout. But on the plus side, they did shut down those Ushabti Greatbows for the time being and allowing the rest of the formation to engage the Tomb King front line. But those Chaos Warhounds being kind of close to the back line, but they probably will come back. But here comes the Dragon Ogre Shagas focusing down the Sphinx of Usept here as they both charge in. Now, the Sphinx of Usept is a master of at dealing with other monsters, but here is a decent burning head, except the problem is it went straight through the Chaos Marauders instead of the Skeleton Spearmen, and that Sphinx of Usept, though, is going to quickly pull out of this engagement, because two Dragon Ogre Shagas, like, it can probably engage one Dragon Ogre Shagath at a time, and it's not going to be any problem, but dealing with two is just going to be a little too much for them, and the Mirror Guard showing just how well they are doing as they just mowing through the chaff of the Tomb Kings, already dealing the final blow to one of these units. But the chariots, oh man, these chariots are taking a beating from that Sphinx. But here comes those Dragon Ogre Shagas. The Dragon Ogres are pretty much going to be hounding that Sphinx the entire match here. But this is a decent engagement for both sides. But I think it's going to favor the Chaos side here just a bit. But with Khalida coming in, getting that poison onto the Dragon Ogre Shagath, that might just be enough for that Sphinx Usept to really turn and fight. However, he is going to elect instead to pull out. I'm not really sure where he is going to be targeting instead. Because as long as the Tomb King are able to engage the Shagaths outside of the halberd support of the Chaos side, I think that is going to be exactly what they need. But we're going to have another juicy burning head just arcing its way straight through these spearmen and just instantly causing them to disintegrate, and that is going to free up these Chaos warriors here to just deal with the big targets, as now the Sphinx of Usept does not want to be charging into this battle here, as the Chaos warriors with halberds are very good anti-large. I mean, they're no chosen, but they are still halberd units. And the rest of the units, though, for the Tomb Kings, not looking exactly the best, as the Ushabti, though, are going to be able to peel, or at least force these Chaos Marauders to pull back, but now the Chaos Warriors are going to be getting into that summon, and I think that summon may have been better used in that late game, but these two Shagaths are continuing to take fire from these Horsemen Archers, and I mean, the Hero Titan himself is completely unharmed, and Khalida herself is as well, just kind of poking away at the backs of these Dragon Ogre Shagaths, doing some decent poking damage throughout the course of the battle so far. And despite the fact that all of the infantry is really just disintegrating for the Tomb Kings here, they're still ahead on the balance of power, surprisingly enough, but I think that's going to start swaying the other way, just because all of this infantry support is all anti-large. So as long as these Shagaths are able to survive until the Tomb King's infantry have been completely dealt with, I don't think that the Tomb Kings are going to be able to really trade well into those large targets once all of these infantry have finally bit it in and disintegrated into the ground, because right now it is just down to these two spearmen for infantry, as these Ushabti Greatbow are continually just running away. Necrotech trying to peel off as many models as it can. But see here, now we have Kolek Sun Eater with Star Crusher popped, dealing with that Sphinx of Usept. Now the Sphinx of Usept will be able to deal quite a bit of damage in return, though he is just kind of trying to run away, but by doing so he's taking a lot of damage in the rear. At the time it was just Chaos Marauder support, but all of these Chaos Warriors with halberds are now coming in. Khalida has been taking quite a bit of damage from Kolek, and yeah, those two Shagaths are just running in tandem this entire match and doing a number on the big targets for the Tomb Kings here. Now the Tomb Kings just down to one spearman, and man, there is just a horde of Chaos Warriors with halberds left, and that is going to just spell bad news for the Tomb Kings in this late stage of the fight. The Lich Priest of Death is still up and operational, though has taken a lot of damage from those overcasted Spirit Leeches, and those that Lich Priest doesn't really have the best HP pool, so those overcasts do a number on them, but they have been able to deal with these the Firecaster by the looks of things. And now the final unit of the Tomb King infantry is slowly but surely crumbling away, and these Mirror Guard will quickly make sure that that happens. And now that the Skeleton Horseman Archers have used up all their ammo, the Ushabti Great Bows still have ammo left, but I highly doubt they'll be able to use any of that ammo in that late game. And the Lich Priest running for its dear undead life as the two Shaggoths are quickly in pursuit. But now the Sphinx of Usep and the Hero Titan chasing down the Shaggoth here as they are caught away from their infantry support. The Kolek and that Shaggoth trying to get mixed in with the Ushabti, trying to take the fight to them, so as when they are engaging with the Sphinx, that those Ushabti are going to be able to easily fire in. Now the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth almost routing there. It was wavering, and had that been able to rout, that would have eliminated one of the major threats for the Tomb Kings here. Now the Necrotech doing a good job of keeping all of the halberds and all the other units away, just kind of cycling in and out, though it is a little caught up right now, taking a lot of damage, and it can't take too much more. Though these Shaggoths, knowing they can't really fight the Sphinx anymore, even together, that Sphinx will most likely be able to deal the final blow to at least the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and probably deal quite a bit of damage to Kolek himself. And yeah, that Hero Titan, though, is going to be left way behind in the dust here, as all of these units just are not going to be able to, or at least the Hero Titan's, its speed is not going to be able to keep up with the Shaggoth and the Sphinx here. Khalida, if she is able to catch one of these, though the Sphinx of Usep gets its charge animation here, getting a little bit of attacks into the rear of Kolek, just kind of plucking away slowly but surely, and this is going to be the way for the Tomb Kings to get back into this fight. If they are able to deal the final blow to Kolek, then they will have that terror and fear that can break those Chaos Warriors in that late game, because I don't think they're going to be able to deal with all of the infantry that is left with Chaos without some kind of terror route or just a mass route in general. So this is just a slow but sure chase in the rear of this engagement here. Balance power is in the Tomb King's favor, and that Lich Priest of Death right here, if it is able to get close, and I don't know how the winds and magics are, it has used quite a bit of overcasted Spirit Leeches so far, but if it has any winds left, it can just kind of pluck away at these two Shaggoths even as they are running away, and that Lich Priest should be able to catch up to them. But otherwise, it is just a chase by all these Chaos Warriors trying to catch these Ushabti, and the Ushabti I don't think are going to be able to fire any more of their shots, really. They may be able to get a few shots here and there, but those Chaos Warriors are going to make sure that doesn't happen. The Hero Titan may need to try and peel some of them off to allow those Ushabti to fire in, especially into these running Dragon Ogre Shaggoths here. It's just kind of a chase at this point, but eventually these units are going to run out of places to run. Necrotech still continuing to cycle in and out, though it is slowly taking damage, and against the Mirror Guard and these Chaos Marauders, those are very good targets for it to be targeting right now, as it isn't those pretty much all very healthy Chaos Warriors with halberds in this late game. And the Shaggoths eventually, well, we hope that eventually they'll be caught here, or at least turn and fight, as this chase has slowly circled around to the rear of the Chaos Forces. So now the Tomb Kings are almost chasing the halberd units, but a few shots actually coming in from the Ushabti, and are able to rout off the Dragon Ogre and even take it down. So finally that Sphinx takes down that Dragon Ogre, and now the Sphinx will turn its attention solely to Kolek, and it is going to be a monster mash here as these two colossal titans fight off against one another, and the Kolek will get the short end of that stick and will be routing off. Now he only has 16 HP. I do not think that he will be coming back, and the Sphinx of Usep, though, is crumbling himself, so Kolek was able to deal enough damage to the Sphinx to really push him off the field. And yeah, Kolek is so close to the white line, so low on health, he will be leaving this fight. So now it is just going to be down to 3 Chaos Warriors with halberds, and that is pretty much going to be it. That Necrotech has done quite a bit of work so far. If we take a look, it is up to 133 kills, just dealing with all the Marauders. The Mirror Guard been able to finish them off, but otherwise, yeah, it is just down to these 3 units, and that is going to be it for the Chaos Forces, as they will take their position, and the Ushabti just plucking away their final shots, and I was thinking they wouldn't be able to get any more shots in, but all of these shots are very, very good targets for them. I mean, it's the only targets left, but down goes the Sphinx due to crumbling. It finally it has done its job, though. It has dealt with both of the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths, and the Hero Titan still standing at full HP at this point. However, the problem with the Hero Titan is it is a very large target, and it is against three, I guess, mid-tier Chaos Warriors with halberds. Now, if these were chosen, that would be GG indeed. But the Necrotech, I don't think even can engage here until that Necrotech really breaks the charge of these halberds. Because that Necrotech is going to try, though. Going to just kind of pluck away one unit at a time, slowly chipping away at the edge of that unit. Though the Chaos Warriors with halberds, they are wavering. And this final volley may be able to break this unit. I think that Necrotech, if it gets a charge in right here, it may be able to peel this unit off. And that Hero Titan itself needs to come in as well, because a Terror Rout against these Chaos Warriors with halberds will eliminate 50 models of very elite units in this very late game. The balance of power is very much in the Tomb King's favor, as the Hero Titan does finally wade into battle with Khalida herself. Now, this is going to be a bit of a predicament, though, because we do have some Skeleton Horseman archers going to be charging in, but down goes the Necrotech, and that is one of the heroes gone. But those Chaos Warriors with halberds are wavering once again. The Lich Priest trying to get a rear charge in, but alas, it is too late for that to work out, as the Hero Titan does try and wade forward, trying to get that Terror Rout, but the Terror Rout will not be coming, as these Chaos Warriors are relentless and will not break in this late stage of the battle. Despite the fact that they have been wavering on multiple occasions, the Skeleton Horsemen are gone, and then now the Ushabti charging forward all out of ammunition. But the Hero Titan, will it be enough to deal with all of these Chaos Warriors with halberds? The halberds still standing fairly decent in terms of leadership. They are still relentless, trying to deal with the Lich Priest and Khalida, but the other units do catch up to the Hero Titan, keeping it into combat. Now, the Hero Titan does do fairly decent work against a bunch of melee units, against infantry, but we'll see how well it's able to deal with all of these units. And finally, the Chaos Warriors get that Terror out, but there is nothing around left to chase it off the field, as they do regain their leadership after that Terror there. Had those horsemen still been in the wings, they may have been able to finally break one of the units. And the Tomb Kings, despite the fact they are fairly ahead in the balance of power, they do need to be very careful here with these units, because these Chaos Warriors, they are not wavering at all. It is just this one fringe unit who has finally broken. It took 25 extra models from its initial wavering to finally bring them to heal, though I do believe they will be coming back. The Lich Priest should be able to keep them at bay. And now it is just down to the Ushabti, kind of cycling in and out, trying to break them down as much as they can. But that Hero Titan and the High Queen Khalida will just try and deal with this mass of chaos here. So yeah, here we are, late stages of the fight. Chaos against the colossal constructs of the Tomb Kings, as the Hero Titan wades through, swinging its staff to and fro, shooting lasers, as the Ushabti, though, they are starting to waver themselves and are starting to crumble. So that is going to be it for the multi-model units for the Tomb Kings, as they are still trying to cycle in and out of this engagement as best they can, deal as much damage. Though they did regain their leadership, so that is a plus side for the Tomb Kings here. And the Chaos Forces are starting to get a little low themselves. The units losing slightly, these Chaos Warriors with halberds. We will see if they are enough to withstand the Hero Titan, who is just beating down these Chaos Forces, but he is getting so low himself, as he is getting very close to crumbling, and he is crumbling now, but the Ushapi Grateful themselves should be starting to crumble themselves, and things looking fairly good for Chaos now. If they're able to break this Hero Titan before they themselves break, though they do get a Terror Route. It is just down to 1 unit of Chaos Warriors right now. Khalida will quickly try and break these Chaos Warriors once and for all, as will these Ushabti, chasing them down, though they do not break, and they do regain their leadership, unfortunately for the Tomb Kings. And now the Hero Titan himself is crumbling, and he is down to slivers of HP, 600 and dropping. And these Chaos Warriors should be able to deal that final blow to that Hero Titan. Balance power shifting more and more into Chaos favor in this late game. High Queen Khalida trying as she can to break these units, but the Chaos Warriors will not go down, and the Tomb Kings will stand defeated, and Chaos Warriors will finally pull it out in the end here. It is just down to that Lich Priest, who does finally crumble as well. So a very long, drawn-out battle in the end, but the Chaos forces, those Chaos Warriors with halberds just proved a little bit too much for the big units to deal with. I mean, the Hero Titan did some decent work throughout the course of the match, though I don't know if it would have paid for its cost, because it is 2k. Now, the Sphinx of Uset definitely paid for itself, doing so much damage to the Dragon Ogre and Kolek himself. The Kolek and that Dragon Ogre Shaggoth together against just the Sphinx would have won that engagement. However, I think they did a little bit too much running. There was definitely some situations where they could have turned and fought, but instead they just took a bunch of damage as they were running throughout the course of that battle. Now, the Necrotech itself, Legion did very well controlling that Necrotech on its chariot, able to really peel off as many of the units as possible, so like the Mirror Guard, all the Marauders, and even dealing some decent damage to these Chaos Warriors with halberds throughout the course of the battle. Did fairly well there. Khalida was actually probably very instrumental in the big showdown between Kolek and the Shaggoth with the Sphinx of Uset, because of her poison, able to reduce those big monsters, and the bigger they are, the more they are affected by that poison. So that was probably why Legion did bring Khalida versus potentially Cetra or Arkan, because Khalida usually, because her kit is kind of interesting, because her items benefit ranged, but she is more of a duelist with poison, so you want her engaged. So that's why she's kind of in an odd spot for Lord choices for the Tomb Kings. But yeah, otherwise the Tomb King front line just didn't stand up against the Chaos forces. They just got broken down so quickly, and I think that was really the big factor in the late game, because so many of the Chaos infantry was left after all of the Tomb Kings had lost all of theirs. And yeah, that just lost the support for their big target, for the big monsters, and that allowed those Chaos Warriors with halberds to just drag that fight down through the mud and just bring down the Hero Titan and Khalida herself. Otherwise, a very long but fun match, and I do hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.